Brace yourself for an impactful conversation as two brave souls, both firefighters by duty and resilience advocates by choice, join us on this podcast. Together, they unravel the layers of men's mental health, sharing experiences from the front lines and beyond. Get ready to hear the untold stories, ignite awareness, and navigate the flames of stigma surrounding men's mental well being. Welcome to a dialogue that's not just about saving lives, but also nurturing the ones who dedicate theirs to the call of duty. So, welcome, Mr. Walters and Mr. Bennett. A pleasure to speak with you both on men and mental health.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, good evening. So happy to be your guest.
Yes. Okay. So, how does the cultural context in Jamaica influence the perception of mental health among men? Both of you can answer the question individually.
Walters, you can go first.
All right. From a cultural standpoint, Jamaica society is very masculine, male dominated. So it's very masculine in almost every aspect of it, right? So a lot of bravado, a lot of ego. So to even think of exposing yourself that you have a mental health struggle or issue is something that only a brave soul would tend to want to do, especially in years gone by. In recent time, I've seen where the Ministry of Health has been trying to, shed some light on it to try and get men to be more comfortable speaking. But from a cultural aspect, it's really difficult. It's not something that you'd really feel comfortable to go and talk about. I can remember one case. This person isn't even Jamaican. I was speaking to a friend, I was overseas. I was saying, I've been feeling depressed. And, the response that I got was like, why are you even depressed? People have far more stresses than you have. And that definitely isn't the way to go about it, because despite the fact that others have stress as well, the fact that I felt comfortable enough to bring that up should have been met with I'm really sorry to hear that. Something comforting rather than something as abrasive as the response that I got. And that's more than likely what you would have gotten from other Jamaicans as well, especially males, And I've even seen on social media, whether it be Twitter or Instagram, where men have tried to come up and say, I've been going through this and that, and even women on social media laughing, and it's really sad to see, because it takes a lot of courage to come out and express if you're at a low point, because it is seen as a weakness to have mental illness, or everywhere around the world, but I think more so in Jamaica than a lot of other places, especially in the first world countries. So it's really sad that the culture still hasn't progressed to a point where it can be seen as something that is very normal, because I think it's something that has plagued society for years, for men and women for years, but people didn't look into it too deeply. But, as with evolution, whether it's in terms of the practices, medicine and all of that, people can actually look deeper into things and find out now that, these issues are why, say, for example, a person who everyone thought was sane and okay, one day just flipped a switch and did something crazy. Exactly. So more research is being done into it, which is good. But from a cultural standpoint, there definitely needs to be a shift generally. But I do appreciate what the Ministry of Health has been doing. I've seen, and Mr. Bennett mentioned as well that he's a part of a group that looks at such stuff, and that is very good, because we need more of that. We need to feel comfortable to be able to express ourselves and the issues that we have.
Okay. Where I come in now, I'd like to first look at the definition of what mental health is for for our listener. our listeners. In the same way that a person might have a flu or a cut finger or a broken toe, in the same way the mental aspect or the mind can be injured due to a number of situations or factors. Yes, losing a loved one. I mean, stress at work, divorce or infidelity. We live in a Jamaica society where them say, what percent are we? A jacket. I mean, men, we can't give money, but we don't tell, we can't speak. What kind of way are we speak?
Yes.
Yeah, we can't give bun, but we don't do well getting bun. You understand? So, I mean, one of my first real experience with deep depression is when my girlfriend gave me bun. Back in the days as a 19-year-old youth. I mean, that's my first experience. A lot of persons who we see out there experiencing or having what we would call now the symptoms of mental health is because it has been left undiagnosed. So sometimes you are suffering from mental health and we don't even know.
True.
So the topic of what is mental health, how we diagnose mental health, the different levels of mental health or injury should be looked at. Yeah, where the cultural context comes in now is, as Walters would have said, we tend to be a kind of macho society. So we tell the boys not to express themselves too much. Nobody cry, man. You're a girl. As a father, I'm guilty of it too. You know, our culture is a way of life of our people. And I'm like, you do it and you don't even know. You're not even aware of it. You just do it out of the norm. So, I mean, when we look at the institutions which are supposed to deal or to deal with mental health, probably look at the first one, the family. Sometimes families, they are not equipped due to probably the low economic situation with a number of family. We look at the church. Sometimes church would probably say, because of the culture of the church again, instead of dealing with the mental health as an injury, what is it that really causes it? A lot of the churches would probably say, you know, it's a demonic thing and people are drive out demon rather than get into the root cause or part of the culture, you know. You understand? Where Walters would have said, no, the Ministry of Health, I'm not sure what percentage of the budget goes to like a mental health part of the budget. Yeah. But I think a whole lot more needs to be done because the effects of mental health, it affects us all. The effects affect us all.
True.
Agreed.
Definitely true. Are there unique challenges or pressures that Jamaican men face in regarding their mental well-being?
I'll try that one first. Well, Jamaica is our terms a developing country. I don't know if it's a Jamaica vis-a-vis or vice versus other countries. But what I know is that enough is not being done really where Jamaica is concerned. And I would have touched on most of them in the first question. The diagnosis part of it first. Yeah. Mm-hmm. People tend to laugh at a person, at a man, yeah, who is showing certain kind of symptoms, or mental health symptoms, a certain kind of symptom. A man who is showing mental health symptoms, he may attract more ridicule from his community, his peers, and even institutions. Yeah. So I can't speak outside of the Jamaican context, except to say that, you know, in developing countries, I would have traveled to one developing country, which is United States of America, and I don't see what we'd call mad people on the road in terms of that. Of course, mad people in every society, because we see where probably the mass shootings and these kind of things, but definitely in Jamaica, I think the socio-economic conditions would have, affect it. The time I take care of madman is to spend the money to buy food or do other thing I spend for security.
Yeah,
understand?
for real. Rashawn?
Well, I totally agree with everything Mr. Bennett said. And the answer would tie into the first question in my estimation, right? There are challenges, the whole taboo around speaking, because I can say even a lot of people, they go to the doctor. This is a doctor that they visit regularly, right? And they're still not even comfortable. The doctor asks certain questions to even be honest with the doctor. And as regards mental health, it's pretty much the same as Mr. Bennett said earlier. We have to look at mental health as, if there's a sickness on another part of the body, but not the brain. So it's something that needs addressing and something that you have to actually speak about the issues what you're suffering, issues that you are suffering, so that you can try and get them addressed. And so few of us do that. Not everybody is comfortable with putting themselves out there, because not only in the home, from when we were children, we were taught, especially as boys becoming men, we were taught to have to be tough to give off that image of masculinity. But even among friends, when we reach adulthood, we're also encouraged to, you have to, as in Jamaica, in Jamaica, you have to be a G or a general. You have to hold it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty much the same, but you can hold it so much and no more. If you continue to bottle it up inside, sooner or later, as we know, if heat is under something or heat is around something, and sooner or later it's going to boil up and then it's going to blow, especially if it's trapped and it's not being released.
True.
So we definitely need more avenues. And, I did mention that the Ministry of Health is doing something. How much budget, as you rightly asked, is allocated towards that? That's something that we probably need to look into for real. But I think we can do it in our own little way. So if even we become an outlet for somebody to vent and to relate the struggles and the issues that they're experiencing, then hopefully we can start a chain reaction where others, whom we provide that outlet to, will have that ability to go and be an outlet for somebody else. So there are unique challenges indeed here in Jamaica, but we have to still work towards trying to normalize the fact that there are mental health issues. And having mental health issues does not make a person insane, loco, mad, or anything. It's a part of the human consciousness to have the one.
And a regular we catch flu, man. I think in 2023, sorry for breaking, the WHO would have said that 20% of all Jamaicans, or 20% of the Jamaican population, suffers from mental health issues. The disparity between the sexes, I never pick it up, but 20% of the entire Jamaican population suffers from mental health.
So that's a fifth of the population. So that's a large enough number, right? Mm-hmm. And if we see countries, look, as you mentioned earlier, Jamaica is a developing country in contrast to the United States, which is seen as the number one country, most developed country. And they're having cases of mass shooting and among other stuff, and these are mental health issues as well. So it's not like we're gonna snap our finger and get rid of it. It's still a lot of work, and even when there is enough attention given to it, it still won't eradicate it totally. But still, we need to find the right attitude and make an active effort to try and ensure that we try to minimize it as much as possible, so that we don't have such serious negative fallouts as what's happened in some other.
Definitely. So, question, because I've heard somebody made this comment I think it's a very unfair comment to make because I think a lot of persons don't really understand the task and certain challenges that you guys face as firefighters. So the comment was, firefighters are really not more than like out fire them stuff there. So I'd like to hear from you both point of view, like the challenges that you guys face when going out there, going on a call, you're on duty. I wanted to actually break it down so persons can actually understand the tasks that you guys have to face or you guys have to deal with.
All right, Bennett. As a 20-year, 2 decades, 20-year veteran of the Jamaica Fire Brigade, a lot of persons who make that comment, they do so from a position of ignorance. They are not fully aware of the scope of the Jamaica Fire Brigade's duty. And probably we can blame ourselves as a brigade, we can blame probably even the government, and even the population as a whole. Fires are not the only thing firefighters fight or respond to. We respond to motor vehicle accidents. We respond to, if there's an oil spill on the road, preventative measures to ensure that the populace is kept safe. So a lot of fires that we would respond to, it never get carried into the media because we would have no matter we get these calls at what we call the incipient stage or the early stages of the fire. If we never catch or we never respond in time, then it will become a major conflagration. Then either you hear what about news about it. You understand?
Yeah.
So we catch a fire them at the early stage. So, them not getting a fire because we don't hear about them catch a fire in the media. I don't want to burn down like that. You understand? I mean, if there's earthquake, you're talking about the prevention arm of the brigade where you should go and inspect your schools, your hospital to ensure that they meet certain safety standards. Again, Jamaica, our primary, and I still get to the meat of your answer, but we just to set the stage. Jamaica primary foreign exchange earner is tourism. What these uninformed persons don't know is that if the country does not have a certain level of what you call safety measures, which should include fire coverage, then a number of the airlines which come into Jamaica will not do so. We can't wait until you are in need before you're trying to scramble a fire brigade. I mean, you have the Seabed Authority located in downtown Kingston at the waterfront. If there's even one fire unit in the whole Jamaica, that fire unit must go there and be on the standby. So a lot of these persons who say they speak from, I don't like to engage with much with some of them, but for those who want to listen and want to learn, I am willing and able to teach them. All right, where the stress of the work mainly comes in. All right, our inner cities, Jamaica, as we would have mentioned, are one of the very highest crime rate and murder rate in the world. Where the inner city is concerned, a lot of murders, they are also combined with what you call buckle bombings. And sometimes you got to, when you have murders in some of these communities, then you will also have fires, burn out, whole heap of house and things. Sometimes you got to see our entire family burn to death. And then you see babies burn to death. Yeah. We mentioned again earlier about it. We have one of the highest rate of motor vehicle accident rate. Mm-hmm. You go to these scenes, it affects the mind of the firefighter mentally. Yeah. Among so many other issues, rubbish fires. I mean, a rubbish fire is one of the most dangerous fire any firefighter can encounter. Yeah, because in a rubbish, all kind of discarded. Because Jamaica again, we don't have a culture of separating garbage. When I go to America, New York, plastic over there, baby diaper over there, granny diaper over there. paper over there, recycled material over there. In Jamaica, we have especially in Kingston, we have a whole heap of what you call illegal dumps. And when the rubbish truck don't come and pick them up, the people like them. One of the most prominent set of calls we get, rubbish fire, call of rubbish and fire. When you go there, and granny pampas night and baby pampas night, when the jet lick that shit, it shit a fly back at you at a uniform. Yeah? You have one set of gears. We are not given 2, 3 gears. When you get that gear and granny do the other body fluids, when you go to the accident, body fluids get on it. You don't have no way of cleaning that at the station in many cases. So the fire brigade is deeply underfunded in many cases. Yes, it was since that I went out and speak to somebody issues, them and try to scramble and try to do the thing. And we and Walters would have go around Euro Circle and we would have, stood up. You see some changes all make a yard park Russian. Yeah? So we effort in vain. I mean, we would have wanted more. But we, as we say, we have a callous society. We have an uninformed, a lot of the persons that speak out of ignorance. Sorry if it takes so long for the topics, but it's one that I am kind of passionate about.
I know, and I do commend you. I do commend you both for that. Because I've been following the story. It was very interesting. Very, very interesting. I think Mary should talk about it a bit.
You take home these dirty gears to your family right. Because the washers are not at the stations. Yeah, so you take them home. What you do? Yeah. The other day, my youngest son, he spent like 2 weeks in the hospital. I was worried so much. Did I take home some cancer-causing material to my 4-year-old son? Yeah. People don't understand. The half of it, not even the quarter, a lot of them don't understand.
True. It's true. Let me weigh in now. So, Mr. Bennett hit all the topics in terms, all the points I should say about where mental health plays a part in firefighting, because we can get a call, accident, you can get a call, house fire, can turn up at that scene, we extinguish the fire. Within that house now, or that burned down house, we can find charred remains of people. That's not something that's easy to live with, having witnessed that, So when people think it's just, we're at the station not doing anything. It's not that at all. I remember when I was working in Stonehead, I worked with a firefighter by the name of Ronaldo West. He termed it very well. Firefighters aren't paid for what we do on a daily basis, but we're paid for the training we receive to respond to certain calls. So it's what we're ready to do, the training, the know-how to be able to do that at any given time when the bell rings. So a lot of people might say, "Oh, you're at work not doing anything," but just like that, the bell can ring and we can be at a fire, or we can be at an accident scene for the entirety of the shift, even going into another shift. And you might have your plans. You say you wanted to go home to spend some time with your children or your child or your loved one, and that's absolutely thrown in the air because the exigency of the service takes precedence right here. So so it's not that we're at the station all the time not doing anything. And then even so, that misconception that we're at the station not doing anything. At the station, so Bennett can tell you, he's a person who leads training and physical activities, physical training as well. So we try to ensure we condition ourselves that we're ready at any given time when calls come in. So, as I said, there are accidents, and I've been quite a few motor vehicle accidents, some gruesome. Luckily, in my experience, over a decade now on the job, I've never been at an accident scene where, when I turn up, there's been a corpse or a dead body there where we have to remove from the vehicle. In my experience, it's always been a case where we were able to remove the person before he or she would have died and help transport them to the hospital. And I've also been lucky enough that I haven't been to a fire where someone got charred inside. So, but I've had countless secondhand stories of such scenarios. So, So as it relates to mental health and the fire brigade, it's a huge topic, it's a very important topic. And I would think for any essential service, but we're addressing the fire brigade here. And, they have the chaplain department. And in recent times, more than before, I've seen where they've been going out since we've been reinstated from suspension. They've been going out.
They actually get all vehicle now. Chaplains, we never have a vehicle before. Where the members can move around. So our agitation actually helps. I want to also add that the physical dangers faced by a firefighter. Yeah. It's real. You're there, you're wondering if the building gonna collapse on you.
Oh wow.
True.
Equipment you're working on will it give way. We have firefighters, right? You have a number of firefighters carrying physical injuries.
Yeah.
Fighting fire and stone bushfire, stone huge boulder just roll over and hit him in the chest. You have to do major surgeries. A number of firefighters carrying lifelong injuries due to the job. Yeah.
Yeah. So true.
So just one fire, because of the danger of a fire, it can just change your life in a jiffy.
Yeah. Because I can tell you this, right? We'll be at the station, as guys do, there are female firefighters as well, but we'll be there bantering, having a laugh and or in training or doing something, and then the bell rings, right? Just like that, you snap into work mode. So that's that's something that comes over time. You know that you have to focus now, because you receive the nature of the call, and then it's in your mind now. You have to start planning on the courses of action that needs to be taken in order to ensure that you do everything, execute everything perfectly in a correct way, in order to minimize on any waste or loss of time to do what needs to be done, and ensure that you can save life and protect property, which is our mandate in the brigade. So we have to always bear that in mind as well. So, but yeah, there are some.
One of the main thing we are omitting, both you and I, is the fact about time off. The kind of time off where other workers in any other profession would get.
True.
So you don't have a work-life balance compared to other profession. Because in the Jamaica Fire Brigade, we work every day. Every day we are on duty unless you are given some kind of leave.
Yeah.
Think about it. Yes. Time off is essential to de-stress, to unwind. Yes. So you need a 2-day off. You can't just depend on the vacation leave where everybody get vacation leave. But in a kind of society or the new kind of world that we are living in, if you don't find some time to maybe go sit on a beach, maybe a 2-day or a weekend, or if you're a party person, or if you go to church, that is needed in the human everyday life. Yeah, you go to your school, your children, football games or whatever sport they participate in. Yes. Every day your life is just surrounded by the work. So it compounds a lot of the issues.
Yeah.
So true. So true. It's I remember sometime in recent time, like, whether I've been on departmental leave and I've been away from the work a little bit, and I speak with friends and they're like, so we have to go back to work. And I said, I have to go back tomorrow. And they're like, but you just got here. And I'm saying, that is the type of work schedule we have. You're literally going to work or coming from work every calendar day of the year. So it's not something very easy to deal with, and we were hopeful that, what we experienced through COVID could have been brought into practice full time, but unfortunately, that hasn't materialized, and that's something that we really, I think I could say probably over 80% of firefighters, if not more, but I don't want to jump the gun, would have desired that, but that's something that hasn't materialized, and we're still hopeful that one day it comes to pass, but that's something that we really need, because I think majority of the fire services around the world that's the kind of system that we have in place where you can work a 24-hour and then you get a few days off in order to recuperate, clean your gears, and spend time with family and friends, and be ready again for the next potential challenges that will come with being at work again.
That's a lot still. That's a lot. But how do you guys handle backlashes? Like, persons would say some fire trucks reach location, either not much water, no water, and a lot more comments. How do you guys handle those backlashes?
Personally, I always try to educate anyone who comes to me with that type of question or accusation. I saying, one of the first things we do when we get to work and the beginning of the shift, we have to check the unit to ensure that all the equipments are on board, are in working condition, and that water is in the truck. So when you hear news about our people claiming that the truck arrived at a scene without water, that's always, I don't want to say it's a lie because I don't want to call people a lie, but it's not true. but the truck always has water once we turn up at a scene. We would rather, if it's a case where some mishap would have happened and then we see that there is no water, we'd rather turn another unit out to that scene rather than go there without water. So you won't see things like that happening. And so what I try to do always is try to educate them that, that's not true. So maybe it's a case where that particular unit has a smaller water tank than other units that they've seen, which would have pumped for a longer duration than they saw the one we were on pumping. But it's not going to be a case where the unit turned up and has absolutely no water in it. That would be...
No, that's ridiculous. I've never been, after my 20-year career, I've never seen a fire truck turn up. Yes, there are fire units which are like rescue units, which carries no water, but that would not go to a fire scene. Or if it goes there on a different mission, to carry support equipment. What a number of persons, we say ignorant, what a number of persons, they expect the truck to have a limitless water supply. But what they need to talk to is probably their political representative. Let there be hydrants in the proximity in which you live. Mm-hmm. So the fire unit, globally, that's how it works. The fire unit is supposed or ought to be connected to a hydrant. In terms of the timing which we arrive, look, the number of cars per household in Jamaica would have increased exponentially over the past 5-10 years. Yes, more persons are now driving. Yes, the road network in Jamaica. There are so many issues. We don't have any fire units on wing as yet. Hopefully we get there one day, but we must contend with the traffic and then the culture again. Sometimes in a traffic, them firemen, they're not gonna wear them just a bit nice or whatever, because we are kind of callous to evil situation facing others. Yes, so there's a whole lot of indiscipline in terms of even the timing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have the fire stations too. They are few and far between. Some development would have taken place in Jamaica, but the road network, with the exception of the toll roads,
right?
The road network is not part of it, So we have nothing to do in terms of, we try our best. Next thing, if you drive too fast and you meet in any accident, that can be a problem too. Because we ought, even though we have the siren, we ought to operate under the Road Traffic Act. Within the jurisdiction of the Road Traffic Act.
Okay.
But most of the cases when persons make those accusations on the fire scene, want to speak to them, in most cases, they relent, but sometimes you have to forgive them too, because they are under stress, they are losing their property. They see probably their loved one, baby, are put up in the fire.
Right.
Yeah. So they're under severe stress. Remember, we're talking about mental health and stress. As a professional, no, you have to even look beyond your own concern and safety and deal with for them. And know say, them under deep stress and depression at the moment. So just reason with them, calm them down, reassure them, let them know, educate them. And in most cases, 9 out of 10 cases, they calm down and even help us to fight the fire too. Jamaica, some willing people, once you teach them and reach out to them, I tell you, them become receptive and learn, man.
Yeah,
and become helpful.
Yeah,
so true.
But you mentioned about a different truck. And what I get to understand that there's about 4 different trucks for 4 different purposes. I don't think a lot of persons do that because people sometimes in mind say fire truck. I just one thing. So if it's something as a fire brigade or something with fire, I just one fire truck.
You have like a command vehicle where the incident commanders would probably come in. Depends on the size of the fire. Yeah, you also have fire unit Russian like 7-4 when it was really operational. It just carry equipment. Yeah, to prise open a door or equipment to lift certain weights, so it doesn't carry water. But those are few. Most of the fire units, significant proportion of the fire units, they do carry water. Some, as Walters would have mentioned, carry less water due to the size of the tanks.
Okay. Yes, so we have one specifically, the water tender, that carries us water. That's its purpose. And we have, Mr. Bennett said, 7-dash would be the rescue. In the past, we had some foam tenders, those were more multi-purpose because you could use as a regular pump-up. But in terms of the capacity, it's a little bit different. And you have the regular pumpers now, which are the main fire units that everyone is used to, as well as they have the ladder trucks now, which are for, for the taller buildings.
Okay.
And you have as well. Recently we've had now such stuff as the towing truck. Basically their own wrecker. So. In all honesty, there has been a progress in the brigade in terms of equipment, and as I mentioned, the chaplain department earlier, but there's still some way to go towards
human aspect. It's a part which I think is kind of lacking. Not kind of, but we have to work on that. Because it's a benefit of all, you have a more productive workforce.
True. But
yeah, true, very true.
But since you both and other firefighters are facing certain challenges when you go out there and you're on your duty, is there anything that they implemented in terms of having a person that say, okay, you can go to that individual for that type of support, that comfort, some sort of counseling method, nothing put in place?
As Walters would have said, there is a chaplaincy unit. There has always been what we call, chaplaincy, the chaplain. We always had a chaplain. However, to have one chaplain serving the 14 parishes, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's...
to have one individual serving the entire island, it was kind of ridiculous. And with speaking to mental health and the stressors in the society, I mean, it was just not tenable. Mm-hmm. It was only recently through our agitation where you see they would have built up the staff complements of, they are now calling it the chaplaincy unit. What we had before was a chaplain. Now we have the chaplaincy unit. So our advocacy, Walters, has borne fruit and will continue to bear fruit.
I agree.
Yeah, it might be slow. Some might be slow in coming, but change will come, as Sam Cook says.
And sometimes it's not. Sometimes we do things. It's not for the now, but you just want to know that a legacy of change, has been put in place.
True. That is very much true. Okay. What advice would you give to individuals or organizations aiming to promote positive mental health among Jamaican men?
Well, the first institution or organization, the family is an institution. I would start with the family. We live in a world where I think, because of history, a number of our women would have faced abuse. In order to change that, what has been happening is that the males are now being marginalized. But we have to be careful with that, because as a society, as communities, as a country, our survival is inextricably linked. If you marginalize a man, you probably create a bigger monster, whereby he becomes more abusive, more aggressive, more, unproductive. Yes, so we ought to strike a balance. Look at the issues in a more clear-cut, balanced manner, and know that, watch this, if we allow any side to go down, then it will affect the whole. Yeah, so start with the family. How we father our boys, how we mother our boys, how we teach our boys. Yeah, at the schools, so because outside of the family now, we can look at the schools. And there's a thing which says that it's easier to mend. All right, I'm not sure about it. But it's easier to, easier to prevent a broken boy than to mend a broken man. Yeah, so some of the time, if you reach 16, 17, 18, sometimes the ass done gone through the gate already. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so look at it from the early childhood age. How do we put in positive influences and influencers in the lives of these boys? Because it's just more than just men, Men. It has to do with male. Yeah, so if you want to go further, probably we can go there at the tertiary institutions. At the workplaces now, as I would have mentioned, if it was a female, if it was probably a female firefighter who had went out and said we need more time, or we can't carry the dirty bunker gears go home, probably the society would have been more receptive to her. So in terms of the organization, sometimes I need to listen to the man them too. You understand? Which other organization we could have think about? So we start with the family, the schools, peer groups, because that is a big influencer too, or the music, the media, for one. Yeah? How do we present the issues facing our men? The churches, they have a big role to play too, we know that I think that women are more spiritual. So a woman will probably go seek out counseling easier than a man will do. Yeah, so we need to get that to the men them too. Seek help. Just like how you have a cold and you take a multi-symptom. Speak. Seek medical help. Because if we leave it to go unattended, then the consequences, it won't be to our liking.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
We have been honored to have these two firefighters who possess so many humanitarian traits and who have served their duties.
First responder, we must be prepared. So one of the mantra, you fight hard, work easy. So we are doing it under adverse conditions.